Okay, let's run.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it.
It's a quest. It's a quest for fun.
Well, The Rock says, why don't we just cut right to the chase?
Okay, now he wants to get together. Well, he wants to talk.
I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about me.
It's showtime, folks!
What are you?
Greetings and salutations. This is And I Quote, the weekly show where we introduce to some of the best creators from all over the world, and we find out more about them by taking your questions. I am your host, Ryan of And I Quote channel, and our guests, plural, guests on this episode. See, I'm a writer. I'm trying to put this down. Are two wonderful people, one of whom made a cameo at some other iteration of the show. I can't remember when it was. But they're here to talk about, no, not so much Star Wars, because that does begin with the letter S, but they're more so to talk about something known as Shakespeare sophistication. Please welcome Lou Tambone and Allie McDowell to the stage. Hello, Allie. Lou, how are you?
Nice.
Hello.
Thank you. It's good to have you both here. It's good to have you here who may be watching and listening to this right now. So don't forget to like and share with your closest friends. And if you're watching us live or on Memorex, there's a throwback for you. Hello there. And if you have any questions for our guests of honor, let us know in those comments. Let us know in the chat. Be more than happy to take those as they come along. So with that piece of business out of the way, Allie, you're somewhat familiar with these studios and these proceedings, are you not?
I am. I got a really good lesson the last time Lou was on, as a matter of fact. If I can just start by telling a quick story.
Yeah, here's the elephant in the room. Go ahead. Tell us how this happened.
Lou went through a whole thing with me where he said, I'm going to be doing this interview on this podcast. Don't come downstairs. Like, don't let the dogs come downstairs. You know, I need quiet. Okay, no problem. I'm going to get my tea. I'm just going to sit. I'm going to listen. And I realized it was really cold, so I had to go get a sweater. And you guys had already gone live, and I didn't think that you were live yet, but I wasn't sure. So I decided to crawl behind Lou to stay, quote unquote, off camera. And this is what all of the good viewers of And I Quote saw on that day. So I'm happy to be here in like full person form today instead of sneaking in the back like a weirdo.
I love it.
That's great. I'm sorry.
We laughed about it for, I think, like 5 days straight. All of our friends got that picture that you just, they're like, how'd the podcast go? And he's like, well, this happened. They're like, oh, Allie.
It's great. I love it.
We've had great moments on this show in the 5 years that we've been doing this. Don't get me wrong, but that definitely has to be in the top 5, maybe the top 3 moments of the show. The history of this telecast, I got to tell you, because we've had fur babies show up on people's screens, whether it's their cats, their dogs, living together with mass hysteria. There's a reference from the 80s.
Yes, I got
because
that.
The 80s had the best clothes, the best music, the best movies, all that kind of stuff. Hashtag those are the facts of this case, and they are undisputed. Thank you, Kevin Bacon. And people have brought their munchkins on the air at one point. You know, the little babies are roaming around, the babies are crawling around, or the kids are like, Daddy, what are you doing? You know, so we've had different instances come about during the course of this program, but that one has to be, it's got to be in the top 3, if not the top 2.
Someone who should have known better.
Yeah,
someone did know better.
It's okay. It's all right. Listen, we live, we learn, we make mistakes, things happen, but this wasn't a mistake. It was intentional. It was great. It gave, because I wasn't focused on it during the course of that show, because Lou and I were so ensconced in the conversation. I thought,
no, I was laughing. I saw it.
You saw it, but I was like, what's going on? I'm a little confused.
Yeah.
He's like,
I'm cracking. It's making me laugh. I'm just like, this is great. Like, this is.
Yeah. I mean, that's like Emerald. That's like one of the admirals on the Star Destroyer trying to sneak around Admiral Piet.
Like,
as he's talking to Vader in Empire. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's just one of those things. This is one of those things. But thank you for sharing that with us. It's great stuff. I think the viewers and the commenters are going to love this, whether it's live or on the replay. I'm just going to point that out as a reward. But just to get to know Allie a little bit better, if you don't mind me asking these questions, Lou, what would you say are some of your favorite books or writers growing up, Allie? Any favorites stand out to you when you were a youngin', or as Lou would like to say, a Padawan?
Yeah, I always read. I remember like when I was super little, just loving like plays on words. Like when I was a little kid, if you guys ever read that Amelia Bedelia book where they say,
Yes.
you know, draw the drapes, and she gets the sketch pad out and a pencil. And I always loved plays on words like that. And I would just sit in my room and write. And when I was younger, I actually had like my parents had to have like an intervention with me where they were like, you need to like go outside sometimes because all you do is sit in the house with these notebooks and like do things. So and now as an adult, I love to go outside and read books. So I found that those two go together really well. And we were talking before we went on the show about Stephen King. I'm actually a couple years into reading at least one Stephen King book a year. So this year I'm up to Christine, and I'm about to get that started later today as I sit out in the sun and enjoy. So yeah, just always loved books, always loved reading, always loved writing. So it's really, really fun to have all of that come together in this project right now.
Well, it's funny you say Amelia Bedelia because I remember seeing her book series or book come across my desk during Scholastic book fairs when I was a youngin'. Yeah, her books would always show up. People would get them. People would buy them. And I remember telling my parents, hey, these are the books I want. I'm never going to read them, but I want you to buy them anyway. And they bought them because honestly, when I went to Scholastic book fairs, the reason I wanted the books so bad was because of the cover. The covers were so good, and the catalogs are so immaculate that I told my parents, it's like, this is what I want, this is what I need. And I saw Amelia Bedelia come across my desk. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll read one of these or check these out. And then I remember you saying draw the drapes. It's like, I remember that. I remember that. I remember like it was yesteryear. I kid you not. When you mentioned Amelia Bedelia, that is, I mean, that's one of those titles of books that I remember when I was a youngin' that I just don't forget because it was Boxcar Children came across my non-existent desk because I'm not that smart, and bunch of other titles. So good stuff. I totally dig it. And it's funny you mentioned Christine because one of my friends is seeing somebody named Christine. I'm like, dude, let's hope it doesn't end up like the Stephen King version. So let's, I wish, by the way, if my friend's watching this, I wish you the best with her. I don't know what's happening, but I swear these things just happen. What would you say are some of your favorite TV series, past or present, whether you were a youngin' or as a mature adult? Any favorites stand out to you?
Oh my gosh, so many. We just finished watching the newest season of The Bear, which is always phenomenal. Let's see, what else?
What about when you were younger? How about that?
I mean, I watched a lot of sitcoms when I was little. I know you guys were all, Star Wars kids and stuff. You know what I did watch over and over when I was little? Oh, that's a movie. That's not TV. Let me think of TV. Yeah, I don't know. I
Cartoons, anything? I'm just taking over the interview if that's all right.
No, it's fine. Yeah.
No, it's so funny. I was like,
tell me about your life.
You're here to talk about books. Like, make sure you're smart about books. And I wasn't thinking TV.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, I just
no Full House. There was no Family Matters. There was no Boy Meets World. Like there was none of that.
Yeah, there was a little Full House in there.
Was there Saved by the Bell?
No Saved by the. It was not.
No
that was
darn it.
No Saved by the Bell. No Beverly Hills 90210. I'm sorry.
Oh,
loves those shows. Those are not my jam.
No Alf. No Alf. Remember Alf, the alien life form one? You remember that?
I liked Alf.
You know what's your problem, Willie? You have no self-control. Which by the way, this clip was used on, I think, a radio. I was listening to the radio at one point, and there was a promo that was being aired, and they said, where do you keep your casserole dishes? Why? The cat won't fit in the toaster.
That's good.
I loved Alf. I loved Facts of Life.
There you go. All right. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay.
Golden Girls.
Yes.
Three's Company. A lot of that went over my young little
Come
head.
on, knock on our door. No, I'm sorry. The only reason I know what Three's Company is Uncle Jesse was singing it on Full House.
Oh,
wow.
you got to go watch
I'm feeling like the old man in the room.
It's okay. It's all right. Listen, the only reason I know who John Ritter was is because he was in the indie film Problem Child when I was a kid.
I do remember that.
Yeah, that I know him from, but I know originally he's most famous for Three's, and I've never seen Three's Company. I've never seen it.
We can tie it back to the TV version of Stephen King's It, which John Ritter was also in.
He was also in that.
Yeah.
What role did he play? Because I don't know what role he played.
I forgot who he was.
Was he one of the dads or one of the kids?
No, he was one of the adult kids that grew up.
Oh, in the like part 2 of the story? Like
I guess the TV movie.
Okay, got it.
One with Tim Curry. It was this one big.
Oh yeah, Tim. I mean, who forget Tim Curry?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was long. It's probably like 2 hours and something. I don't remember, but they kind of condensed it into one. It was back in the 80s, I would say, in the early. early 80s, maybe. I don't know.
Probably.
All
I
right.
haven't seen that version.
Tim Curry is fantastic. You should check it out. It's not.
I love Tim personally. I love Tim Curry. I got no problem with him. I got no problem with John Ritter either. He's a great actor. Plus, he was one of the nicest guys America ever knew. So
yeah, he was good. Yeah,
But yeah, so Three's Company. That's another one. Any other sitcoms or any other memories coming back to your mind now that we've given your P's and Q's?
Well, you guys talked about this last time you were
did.
on the podcast. I was a huge MacGyver fan.
Oh my God, Richard Dean Anderson. Yeah,
I wrote him a letter, and he sent me a signed postcard, and it meant the world to me.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Was it like paper stitched together with tape? Like
yeah. Was it pieced together with little pieces of tape and other materialistic things?
Yeah.
It should have been. Yeah. It said like, always like think fast and pursue and like all that like good positive vibe.
Oh, that's so cool. I grew up watching either original or it was probably, since I'm a bit younger here, no offense, I was probably watching reruns of MacGyver, but I still remember it because it's Richard Dean Anderson getting his way out of a sticky situation. It was great.
Yes. And what's not to love? And I still recognize, like, to this day, I see other actors from that show in stuff, and I'm like, he was so and so on MacGyver. Like, I remember all that stuff. So,
dun, 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 dun. Sorry, now I got the theme song stuck in my head. Thanks, guys. No, it was fun. And the funny thing is, I didn't know that Lois Lane herself, Terry Hatcher, plays like his ex-girlfriend or his ex-wife on MacGyver. Had no idea. Because there was a clip of it somewhere on the interwebs that came across my desk. Sorry, like I said, I'm using metaphors. And I saw it. I was like, wait a minute, Terry Hatcher was in this? Get out of here. Before she was Lois Lane, she was working with MacGyver. Get the frack out of here. Because I know her best as Lois Lane because she was one of the iterations of Lois Lane I grew up watching as a youngin'. And then she did the Bond movie with Pierce Brosnan, in 97 during her tenure when she was still on Lois and Clark. She was in Tomorrow Never Dies.
Right.
So that's how I know who Terry Hatcher is. And then the other thing is, because I saw this movie for the first time a couple months ago, I think it was. Less than a year ago, I saw Tango and Cash.
Oh, yeah.
For the very first time. And she was Tango or Cash's sister, like Stallone's sister.
Right.
Stallone's sister. I'm like, what? Terry Hatcher was Stallone's sister? Get at it. Like, I was like, Terry, where have you been all my life? Sorry, that's one of my Hollywood crushes. I apologize.
He was in Spy Kids, too. Did you ever see those Spy Kids movies?
Yeah, I've seen the yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Spy Kids.
She was in a couple of them. I forgot.
Yeah. Well, Carla Gugino was the
mom figure. Terry Hatcher was in there somewhere. I forgot. Well, my kids watched them when they were growing up. And
touche.
Of course, that means I had to watch them many times. So I know she's in there somewhere. I forgot who she plays.
I may have to Google which one she appears in. Sorry, Terry, your filmography is not coming to my brain at the moment. I just remember the certain things I remember watching. But good mentions about TV series. Now, it's okay, Allie. You can mention the M word now. It's called movies. So are there any movies that you enjoy, past or present?
Yeah. So we'll do, since we're like kind of on an 80s kick. I'm going to date myself again here. I'm a little bit older than you, not too much. But
it's all right. We don't look a day over 25. It's fine.
Yes, that's right. I had a VHS tape. My dad would tape movies for me off of like the movie channel. We didn't have HBO. We weren't that fancy, but we had a movie channel, and he would tape movies for me. So I had a VHS tape that had Never Ending Story, Gremlins, and Explorers on it. And I almost wore that VHS out. Like, I was just constantly watching those three movies. So that explains a little bit about how I turned out as an adult, I think. It's the middle of summer and I'm watching Gremlins for like the 80th time. Like,
Don't feed him after midnight.
Yes. And we still do that. We still make those Gremlins references constantly. And I liked stuff like The Lost Boys.
Michael. Sorry.
Maggots, Michael. You're eating maggots. How do you like your maggots?
I didn't see The Lost Boys for the first time until like a year or two ago, Lou. And I got to tell you, that is a darn good vampire flick, man. That is so good. And the soundtrack is cool. Yeah, and the bikes and the leather outfits. And who was the female Jamie Gertz?
Oh,
Jamie Gertz, man. I'm looking at this and I'm like, wait a minute. This is the same woman from Twister with Bill Paxton, just 10, 15 years younger when she was in this movie. Yeah. And I'm like, Jamie Gertz, again, where have you been all my life?
She was on
Jamie Gertz.
I don't know if you saw it, like in the 90s or early 2000s. She was on a
was.
horrible, like a family sitcom or something.
Yeah. Oh, it was bad.
It was, I forgot what it was called. It was
Jamie Gertz was on a sitcom.
It
She
was-
played like because this
yeah.
is years later now. She's like a mom.
Yeah,
For those
And, it was just not.
if I've told you once, I've told you 100 times. Sax guy,
You-
yes,
that's our friend-
shirtless sax guy.
Our buddy Utah is in the chat. Nice. That's
Oh, it's Johnny Utah. No, I'm just kidding. That's not the
No,
Point
that's
Break iteration of Johnny. But Utah says Tim Capello shirtless.
that's
Oh
it.
God. Oh, that's hilarious. Jamie Gertz, Solar Babies. Is that what it's
Oh,
called?
is that the name of the show?
Solar Babies.
Babies?
Random Rick Reviews. By the way, Random Rick Reviews. That's one of the coolest usernames I've ever heard in my career. That's a lot of R's too, and my name starts with a letter R. So yay. Four R's don't make it right, Random Rick Reviews, but I'm just saying.
I
Jamie
love
Gertz-
alliteration.
Terrible
Yes.
show that I watched because Jamie Gertz was in it. I said,
Solar
let me
Babies.
see it. And I saw a few episodes and I tapped out. I was like,
See,
eh.
you,
That's
I
a weird name anyway. Solar Babies. I don't even know if I would want to watch that.
yeah. Triple R. I love it.
Uh,
Yeah, see, I had a very different experience because I was like, oh, it's the Coreys. I love, and then it was like, oh, Jason Patrick, oh, Kiefer Sutherland, Bill from Bill and Ted. Like, there's all these like crazy, like
Alex Winter. That's right.
Right,
Alex
Alex
Winter.
one of
Yep.
the stars.
And it's crazy that he did that movie right before he shot Excellent Adventure.
Yeah.
and Feldman and
He was
what's his
having a
face?
minute. Yeah,
Corey
I
Haim.
was
Corey Haim
kind
and
of all
Corey,
about the
the
Coreys.
two Coreys.
Corey Feldman. Yeah.
I was much again. It tells you about me as an adult, but I was really into Corey Feldman.
It's okay. You can admit we've all had our Hollywood crushes, ladies and gentlemen. It's okay. I can listen. I've been on record as saying, I've had crushes on, Terry Hatcher, Tiffany Amber Thiessen from Saved by the Bell. Hello there. Amy Jo Johnson from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, who played Kimberly, the Pink Ranger. I'm okay saying it because listen, we've all been there, folks. If you say you've never had a celebrity crush, you're fooling yourself. Because
Right.
when you watch television or movies, doesn't matter what form of media you're watching, if you see somebody that strikes a chord with you, you're thinking to yourself, can I get their phone number, please?
Mhm.
Like let's go on a date, And back then you could say, hey, let's grab dinner and a movie. That's before we had internet, and then the internet creeped in and ruined dating and online dating for everybody. To a certain extent, it has, but some relationships have come out of it that are successful. Hey, congrats to you. Not so much for me. I haven't found Lois Lane yet, but it's fine. It happens. Random Rick Review says no, Solar Baby was a good movie. She was in it originally.
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay. Well, thanks
sounds
for
good.
clarifying, Rick, because I
Yeah.
don't know where that came from. And then he says, Utah says you can still be into Corey Feldman, Allie. It's okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think-
he would like that.
I think he needs me more than I need him at this point.
Yeah.
Sorry, Corey.
And it's funny. I have met Corey Feldman. I have. We got a selfie together, and it was fine. The selfie worked out fine. I was originally going to get an autograph, but his autograph prices were tenacious and outrageous. Couldn't get an autograph. If I had an autograph, I would have had him sign my Goonies 8x10 as Mouth. Because I grew up watching Goonies, so it would have been either that or one of my NECA figures because he was the voice of Donatello in the original Ninja Turtles movie. Did you know that, Allie?
I did know that.
He was, yeah. So I would have had him sign that, but his prices are way, way too high. And I thought to myself, okay, you got a selfie. Let's move on. There are better things in life than paying this for that. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm moving on, guys. So, moving on. So is that a song? Maybe it's not. Maybe Lou can compose a song to it. I don't know.
We'll make it.
But save it for me in your next set.
Still Standing was the show.
That's it. Okay.
That
Was the show with Jamie Gertz originally?
Yeah, I just found
Terrible.
Still standing.
Still
Terrible.
Standing. Yeah, awful.
All right.
Yeah,
all right.
I remember that.
I will do my best. I will do my best and not watch it. So you're welcome.
Yeah, not a great show. It was early 2000s.
Oh, early 2000s. Okay.
That's what it said here. I don't know.
I
I can't remember time anymore. Time escapes me.
Tempest Fugit, time is fleeting.
Yeah.
For those of you wondering what time it is a special episode of And I Quote that you're watching. Don't forget to like and share this with everybody. If you have any questions or want to dive into your 80s memories with our guests, feel free to do so because the 80s were quite popular. Let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. More than happy to hear from you if you're watching this live or on Memorax/replay. Hello there, as Obi-Wan Kenobi would say. So movies, books, TV series, the whole nine. Utah says, last I remember Jamie Gertz is in Twister. Yeah, I got to go, honey. We have cows. That's it. That's the line. That if you know Twister, that is the scene that everybody knows, right? Because the Twister's coming down. Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt are like in awe of it. And Jamie's a therapist on her phone with one of her patients or whatever she's doing. And she's like, I had to go, honey. We got cows.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like, there you go. That's it. That's it. That's and yes, I've seen Twister. I don't think it's quite as good as Jan de Bont, the director's other film that he did before Twister, which is Speed.
I remember Speed. Yeah,
I like
Speed to me is a way better film than Twister. Way better.
More suspenseful.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah.
You know,
It's got Keanu and that girl from the bus. It's got Sandy B. It's got Sandra Bullock, which is another one of my Hollywood crushes. Hashtag those are the facts, Allie. I mean, it's The Net. The Net. If you've ever seen her in The Net, Sandra Bullock is great in The Net. Did you know that The Net turns 30 this year? I'm dead serious.
Wow.
I know. Time flies when you're having fun watching these films. So there you go. But what made you decide to become a writer and editor, Allie? I'm just curious.
So, like I said, I've been writing and doing stuff like that since I was little. I always got good grades on like grammar assignments and stuff in school because to me it was kind of like easy. Not like math. Math was like, what even is this 1 + 2? I don't know. So, I've always been kind of a words person. So I actually edit professionally. I've been doing medical editing for medical journals for, oh my gosh, over 15 years now. So I do it for fun. And when it's time for my lunch break, I go and sit and read a book. And when it's time to be done with the workday, I might sit down and edit a book with Lou. So words are kind of my morning, noon, and night. And other than music is also my love, but I don't do that as much professionally. So yeah, just kind of always done this words thing.
Splendid. Fantastic. And Random Rick Reviews turns the clock back. He says the most unbelievable thing in that movie Twister was Bill Paxton picking Helen Hunt over Jamie Gertz. It's pure fiction. Listen, Rick, let's talk some brass tacks here for a minute, okay? I like Jamie Gertz, but I didn't fall in love with her until I saw Lost Boys many years later. I'm sorry, I'm a bit young. So between the two in their prime, between Jamie Gertz and Helen, and I believe it was Helen Hunt, I'm going to go with Helen on this one. I'm sorry. Maybe it's my thing. Maybe it's because I'm and I don't mean this as a negative against any other kind of hair color, but I like blondes. I don't mind brunettes, but blondes are good. Helen Hunt was. I'll just go with Helen Hunt. Let's just leave it at that. So Jamie Gertz, pure fiction. That's fine, Rick. You can have that opinion. It's fine. But me personally, if I were Bill Paxton's shoes, I would have gone with Helen Hunt because she enjoys storms, which means she and her can get along, respectively. Because I was a fan of watching the Weather Channel when I was younger. Right? I was a fan of that stuff. The documentaries about twisters and hurricanes and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But Jamie Gertz just doesn't seem, that's not her thing. So that's why I would choose Helen Hunt's character. I can't believe we're playing matchmaker here. It's so weird. As a wise man once said, well, that's like your opinion, man. I understood that reference, Utah.
Yes.
I understood that. Utah says Helen Hunt for me. And I quote, hates brunette. No, I do not. No. And I quote Studios, in no way, shape, or form does not dislike brunettes whatsoever. We respect all hair color, all folks who come into these studios and people who watch or listen to these programs. Let's just leave it at that. Thank you, Rick. Yeah, you're smiling, you're laughing at me in the chat. Thanks, buddy. You have a very interesting array of friends, Lou. You really do. I don't know what it is. It's
I don't know Random.
You don't know Random Rick? All right, well then maybe it's just me because Random Rick, you're playing with fire here, man. Don't mess with me. Anyway, sorry. I'm sorry, Al. I didn't mean to take the attention away from you. But what are some of the biggest rewards about being a writer or an editor from your standpoint?
Well, it's right now, it's so exciting to see, it's great to see your name in print somewhere. And I know that I probably sound like a 1,000-year-old dinosaur, but
old.
I love books. We talked about this a little bit before we came online, but I'll share it with all the good people of the internet. There's something just great about a book. I love to sit and read a book. We're on screens all day. We're looking at our phones. We're looking at our computers. We're watching TV. There's something about picking up a book that is just like so different and such a great experience. So it's fun for me to be able to say, hey, I did that. And, Lou is someone who has been doing that kind of thing for years and years now. And I met him and, we were talking about this stuff. I'm like, how do you do this? And he's like, you just do it. And I was like, really?
That's my answer to everything.
Yeah, you just do it.
How do you build a car from scratch? You just do it.
Do it. So no, but to be fair, he gave me a lot of good information on how you do that kind of stuff. And, it's just so exciting to be a part of it. I have edited a couple of books in the past, more like textbooks kind of thing. So it was fun to start first as a proofreader and editor on The Fringe. You can see the shirt here. This is Lou's original sci-fi novel that came out earlier this year. And and now, was it last year? Yeah,
time is
we
flying.
have no concept of time.
Time flies.
What day is it? And then obviously now
it's Groundhog Day. No, I'm just kidding.
That's another great one. Obviously, I've watched that movie over.
To the groundhog.
You know. So, and people say print is dead, and I hear that and I understand
that's
but
a reference.
I know.
You know where that's from?
No.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I knew it.
Yes. Okay. Thank
Egon.
you.
I knew it. Yeah, print
Thank
is
you.
dead. You go with your hands. I could tell. Do you read magazines? Print is dead.
Which was like an oddly like ahead of its time kind of joke.
I love it.
Yeah, Egon was ahead of his time. He was the scientist. He knew what he was doing.
Spores, molds, and fungus.
Yeah. She's like, I have some hobbies myself. I play racquetball. Do you have any hobbies? I collect spores, molds, and fungus. And I'm just like, who says that? Who says that? Nobody. But Egon. Egon's the only one who can say it and get away with it. But yeah, no. In Utah, I get your reference, but no. I mean, a lot of people have transferred over to ebooks and whatever, but to me, print is never going to be dead. It's never going to be dead. Look behind me. You see all this? Print is not dead, my friend. It is not dead. See that bookshelf behind our fabulous guests? Which, by the way, when it comes to book collections, they beat anybody I know to the punch. Because look at that sick-looking collection back. That is insane.
I've seen bigger.
Have you seen bigger? I mean, you should check out Terrence Lehue, the Suit Up the podcast on his YouTube channel, because his background is nothing but a giant, massive set of shelves. And I'm thinking to myself, Terrence, do you really read all those, or is that just for show?
Yeah.
No, I've read them. Like, oh, okay. Well, at least one of us is smarter than the average fifth grader, because I'm not. I'm not just joshing you, Terrence. I love you, man. But no, that's a fair point about having things in print and getting it out there to the world and having people being able to see it and read it. And you're absolutely right. We are inundated with our screens, our phones, this, that, and the other. So anytime I get a chance to pick up a paperback or hardcover, whichever format the reader prefers, it's a very good day. It's a good day at the office. So I'll give you that. Indeed. Right? Yeah, it's totally true. In the words of Morgan Freeman, she's right, Flip side of the coin, though, what are the biggest challenges of it being a writer or an editor?
Finding the time, to do a labor of love like this, and not even just the time so much, but the focus. You really want to give it your undivided attention when you're trying to edit something. When you're writing something, you're creating it, and you're everything's in your control, and you have all this freedom, which is wonderful. As an editor, it's a very different kind of thing, because you have to go back and make sure, okay, well, this character's name starts with a Z here, but it starts with an S here, and which is the one that's right? And then you got to look and, make sure everything's consistent. It's a lot. It's like a different kind of part of the brain. It's a little bit more analytical, I guess, to be an editor. So, putting on those different hats is sort of a challenge. All writers may not be good editors. All good editors may not be good writers. It's a related but separate kind of skill set. So being able to give the right focus to the project is, something that's really important.
Definitely, for sure. And going back to what we were saying about books earlier, Utah says, hoarders, all of you. Seriously, I love the experience of reading a book versus digital, though. The smell, the feel, the sound, chef's kiss. Yeah, you're darn right, son. This is why Utah and me being the Bodie too as Johnny Utah are going to get along famously. See, there's your Point Break reference there, Utah. I did it. I worked it in. And yes, I've seen Point Break a lot of times. It's a good action film.
Mm-hmm. It really is.
It really is. I mean, the names are cool. The soundtrack is, typical 90s hard edge kind of stuff. And Bodie's philosophy, Patrick Swayze, he was born to play that role. It just works. It just works. It's just, I mean, originally, I remember him from Dirty Dancing and Roadhouse. When I see him in Point Break, he has his hair blonde, so he changed his hair color some. And I thought to myself, you know what? The 3 rules of Roadhouse are great, but his philosophy and stuff that they pull, you know, being the ex-presidents and robbing banks and whatnot, just for the thrill of it. I think it's kind of, I mean, not that I would do it myself. No. But in the fictional sense of the movie, it works. Because as you know, the 3 rules in Roadhouse, Allie, are never underestimate your opponent, expect the unexpected, take it outside, never start a fight inside the bar unless it's absolutely necessary. And rule number 3 is be nice. I want you to be nice until it's time to not be nice. That's what we were taught in Roadhouse.
Good lessons from Roadhouse.
I know, right? It's we. By the way, we miss you, Patrick Swayze, R.I.P. For sure, we do miss him. Very nice man, great actor, great talent. We'll leave it there. What advice would you give to aspiring writers or editors out there, Allie?
Do what you love. We thrive when we do what we enjoy doing. If you're not feeling something, don't force it. If you are feeling something, but you're feeling unsure about it, don't worry about that unsure feeling. Just go with it. If you want to do it and you feel confident and good at it, go for it. Like, there's such a rewarding feeling of, I'm good at this, and it's okay to say, I'm good at this. It's also okay and good to say I need improvement here, there, and other places. But when you feel something and it's good and you can get it out there, go for it.
So it's kind of like the Nike philosophy: just do it. You know,
that's like what Lou says. You just do it.
Yeah, you just do it. How do you fix that car? No, you just do it. I don't care.
Just do it.
Do it how you. Yeah, don't read the directions. You don't need directions. Just do it. You know, pull the Nike reference out of your hat. Excuse me. Got to keep this show family friendly, folks.
Yes.
Utah says Johnny Utah was my nickname back in college. Oh my gosh. I went to Ohio, and you went to Ohio State, home of the Buckeyes, if I'm not mistaken, and even went as Ted Theodore Logan many Halloweens growing up. Utah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, I strongly suggest that you do, because you're going to like the way you look after watching or listening to this And I Quote channel. I guarantee it. There's a reference for you. Utah has a question for the panel. Is it easier to edit your own work or someone else's? As the author, do you feel too close to the text to objectively edit? Anyone want to answer that?
No, you take that.
It's not easier to edit your own work. That's for sure, because you're used to seeing it and you've read it through so many times that all the mistakes fly right by your head. There's just no, that's why I don't like to edit alone. I like to have a partner, you know, whether it's Rich Hanley or whoever, Joe Bongiorno, or this lovely woman here, Ms. Allie McDowell. Yeah, I need a second set of eyes. I am not as good as she is at editing or any of that stuff, really. So I need it. I actually kind of need that. I can't edit my own. I mean, I can. I did take stabs, I take passes, but when it's done, I don't feel comfortable just putting it out. Like, somebody else has to look at it and see it for sure.
Yeah, I would agree. I think we get emotionally attached to our own writing, and that's why it's good to have not one but 2 other sets of eyes on it. And even professionally too, like every editing job I've ever had, 9 to 5, we don't let anything go out into the world with 1 set of eyes on it. Everything has to have 2 people, because you catch things that other people don't. And spell check, do not get me started. Spell check does not count as an editor. Spell check does not catch everything. It can leave a lot of embarrassing things, actually, and typos.
Yeah. Well, certain words are spelled the same, but they mean different things, or spelled slightly different, so it's weird. Yeah.
Well, that's fair. I can give you that. That's very true. Good points. Good pointers, everybody. We're learning so much in this class today. I'm loving it. I know it's great, isn't it? So let's I and all of us who went to school remember the Bard. We remember William. We also remember William Shakespeare. And Shakespeare, for me, it was fine, but I didn't really get into it, so to speak. But you 2 kind folks have this going on. So Shakespeare is coming back with a vengeance, but not just any kind of Shakespeare. No. You've decided to take William Shakespeare's classic stories and take him in a different direction. So tell us, what exactly is Shakespeare adjacent, and how did this all come about? Whoever wants to answer these questions first.
Well, that's a long story. So this actually
starting the stopwatch.
Okay.
Go.
This actually goes back to this project goes back to around 2014, if you can believe that or not. My good friend Rich Hanley, we put out many books together. I've known him since the early web days when the internet was still in its infancy. he actually came up with this idea. This is really his idea. And he said, I want to do all these Shakespeare stories and all these different genres. And he put out a call to all these writers. And I hadn't really done much writing with him at that point. We were just friendly through the Star Wars community and all that stuff, because he'd written some Star Wars things and Star Trek things and other stuff, official stuff. And he said, hey, you want to be involved in this? I said, okay, So all the other people were like, yeah, I'll do this, I'll do that story, whatever. And I picked Twelfth Night. I am not a Shakespeare guru at all. Like, I know a couple things and that's it. But I always thought Twelfth Night was pretty funny. So I thought, like, of all his comedies, like, okay, this is the one I know. I only know like some movies and some other stuff that we had to read in school or whatever, which, I wasn't like, I was more like you. It's like, it's nice, it's there.
Yeah.
When it's the original text, it's a little hard to get through. They rewrite them for modern audiences later. So okay, fine. So he said, I'm going to do this. Okay, I said great, and I picked my story, and then I just went right to work on it. Right, research, watching the play, and finding references, and reading the book, and blah blah blah. Right, so I did all that, and I started writing this long. It ended up being like pretty long. I don't remember how many, like 40 pages or so. I don't know what it was. It was pretty long. And, I'm like, okay, I'm done. And he's like, well, we don't really have time to do this project right now anymore. So we're going to put it on hold. And actually, I'm really busy right now. So I'm going to hand it to this other guy to run. And I was like, oh, okay. So I'm contacting that guy going, what do we do? Do I give you this? And here's my draft. And it's just like radio silence, and the whole thing just dissipated. Right. So it went away for a long time. I had this file sitting on my hard drive for years and years and years, went through multiple computers, kept transferring files over. And there's the other stories too. I had these other ideas, and I'm like looking at it, I don't know, 2 years ago or something. And I'm like, I gotta do something with this. Like I worked like really hard on this stupid thing, like to take Shakespeare's Twelfth Night and turn it into a sci-fi story was a lot of work. So I was like, you know what, I gotta do this. And then I contacted Rich, of course. I say, hey, look, you want to because we put books out all the time. So you want to put this book out, we'll get this thing going. He was way too busy at the time, and he was like, just go get somebody else. So my first thought was a professional editor.
We were, can I tell the story real quick?
Go ahead. Yeah.
We were in the car. We were on a long drive. I think we were going down to the city to see a concert or something. And he's like, yeah, Rich is too busy, so I gotta find another editor for this book. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, I hope you find someone. Like, gosh, I hope that goes. And he's like, yeah, gotta find someone to edit this book with.
I wish I knew an editor.
And I was finally like picking up what he was putting down. I was like, do you want me to do it? And he's like, oh, well, that would be nice. So here we are.
Yeah. So that's the story of where this all came from. It wasn't like it's been in the works since 2014, but that was the inception of it. And then it went into 2015, then it just died for all these years. Now here we are 10 years later. And I put out a call to some familiar writers I'm familiar with, people I've worked with before, a couple of different people. We got a lot of replies back. Here's, I'd like to do this, and here's my idea, the pitches and stuff. And some folks just didn't have time, and just we couldn't get to them. But what you see here in the contents, these are the folks who made the cut. And I tell you, there's some really fun stuff in here. Like I'm hoping that people read this and enjoy it. I mean, I'm looking at, let me see what you got here. Yeah. I mean, I've worked with Kelly before. She's fantastic. She's one of my favorite people. And Alan Porter, again, someone I've worked with before. Dacia Blackwood was new to me, but that's a really great story. Tony Simmons I've worked with before. If you look at you go into Amazon and stick my name in there, you'll see these anthologies about Battlestar Galactica and
ESG,
and all these other and Hellblazer, all these other things. A lot of these folks have worked with me and Rich on those. Brad Cook is someone I knew from the internet that we were always friendly. And when I put the call out, he's just like, hey, I'd like to do something. So that Brad was new for working with me, or with us, I should say. Sam Agro's a funny guy, great guy. Worked with him before. Valentina worked with me on the Joker book, which was the previous book me and Rich put out. An anthology of just similar to, well, like mostly essays. It's pop culture stuff, just
I still got to pick that up because as somebody who grew up on so many different iterations of the Batman,
yeah.
like I gotta because to me, I don't know if you knew this or not, but to me, my favorite and the best villain that I've ever either read on a comic book page or on a silver screen to me is Joker. I think he's the best villain that ever existed.
That's what this whole book was for and about.
Yeah.
And,
Love it.
I'll send you one.
Please do. Yeah, I would love to read that because with Joker brand, I get agreeing again and again. Oh, that luscious tan, those ruby lips, hair color. That's so natural, Lou. Only your Undertaker knows for sure. Anyway, I hear what you're saying. Talk about Shakespeare. I'm sorry. I got off on a bit of
okay.
I got a little carried away. When you mentioned the words Joker and Batman, just like I could talk about Joker.
I do the same. The other day, someone was showing me pictures and I was going, crap, just like in the...
Now, but when Allie's editing it, that's good work.
Yeah, right. So
see what I did there?
Yes, I did. So Valentina worked with us on the Joker book. This piece is a little bit of a standout for the book, which I thought, because it's really not one of Shakespeare's stories told in a different way. It's actually a story about a story. So it's really, and it has a lot of Mexican culture and stuff in there, things that I didn't know. So that was a tough edit because we had to do a lot of research to to not just to verify things. I mean, we believe the facts, but like to kind of know what things were and what things meant. And there was a lot going on in that edit. So I liked putting that right in the middle because it's kind of like a break. Like you get a bunch of stories and then you get this like sort of almost like I want to call it like an infomercial, and then it goes into something else.
It's kind of like a story about a retelling.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
It's
like Inception. It's a dream within a dream within a dream.
Yeah, it is, and it's really neat, and it's really it's funny too. Like because Midsummer Night's Dream is funny. Like it captures that same feeling of that play. So
I remember that one, Midsummer Night's Dream.
Yeah, so that's one of my favorites.
I think
too.
you'll
and there's 2 Midsummer Night's Dreams in here.
Is there?
Yeah. People will enjoy this stuff. I thought it was like a nice break from the regular.
The regular, yeah.
It didn't have to be that structured. And when she pitched it, I was like, at first, your first thought is like, well, it's not really a story retold. Then you go, wait a minute, this is different. This is cool. This is fun. This is what the book needs. So yeah, we put that in there. Rich's story, Rich Hanley's The King's Lear. That's very funny. Rich has a real hang up with and this is what a great metaphor. A real hang up with phone scammers. Although he doesn't hang up, he tends to.
It's a fake hang up. No,
he tends to kind of go with them and play with them a little bit. So it's really hilarious. He's been doing this for years. So of course,
phone scammers. That sounds good.
Yeah. So he has this King's Lear
crank calls.
It's like and there's a lot of calls.
Crank yankers.
I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, there's a lot of funny moments in.
Don't pull a Doctor Who. Spoilers. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Corinna's story, I really enjoyed it. She took a bunch of sonnets that kind of tied together and turned it into this, like, I felt it was a sci-fi story. I'm not sure.
The Dark Lady.
It's horror sci-fi, like an alien kind of thing.
Yeah, there's a being in it.
Yeah, we don't want to spoil everything. It's horror. When I hear the words horror / sci-fi, I think alien. Like that's, to me, that's.
I've seen that one. Yeah,
I can hear you scream, right? So like it's got that vibe to it. And I really liked that one a lot. As Agent Sandronicus, that's Aaron Rosenberg, another guy worked with before.
Crazy 8, isn't he?
Yeah, Crazy
8, baby. Love you, Aaron. I've seen him at Shore Leave and Farpoint. He's a nice guy. I've
Kelly's been there too, actually. And Aaron, I mean, talk about like the nicest guy, just great, easy to work with. And he took Titus and he put As You Like It together, made it into like a spy thing with what do you say, a touch of rom-com.
I love spy thrillers.
I mean, this guy, his writing is always like, you talk about the easiest edits. It's like
it's on point, isn't it?
You get lucky if you find one thing
really
misplaced comma or something.
Well done, Aaron. Look forward to seeing you next week at Shore Leave. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be hanging out with Aaron, all the people in Crazy 8, and a whole bunch of other writers there. So there you go. I'll tell him we'll give our best to Aaron for you.
Do it. A great bunch of people. That's who we put the Joker book out with, actually. That was Crazy 8. Yeah. So let's see what we got. Joe Duffy's story. Joe Duffy's very well known in the comic industry, wrote Star Wars and all kinds of stuff. Midsummer Night's Dream take, right? Great stuff, like kind of like Private Eye view.
I think you'll like that one, Ryan.
Which one?
Love and Idleness. Joe
Love and
Duffy.
Idleness.
Yeah, good stuff.
Okay.
And then
Joe Duffy, got it. Mm-hmm.
Yep, and my friend Genevieve, we've worked on a few. She was involved in a couple of the previous books.
Nice.
And great. Just the list of writers here is just really great.
It's stellar. It's very stellar.
And then some idiot named Lou wrote this 12th Night thing. I don't know what's going on there, but you can just skip that one. Go right by it. It's all good.
Skip that one. Skip the introduction. They don't matter.
Yeah, you don't need that stuff. But was that everybody? Did we get everybody?
And then Rich did Living on Bard, which is an afterword.
Yeah. And his after his I always say like that's like his little secret sauce when he does the intros or the afterwards to some of the things we've done. Like those are like some of the best things. Like he just, and he'll always be like, I don't know what to do. And then he's like, here, have this. And it's like, just, it's great.
Beautiful.
So I'm like, okay, good. Yeah.
So what you can do, dear viewer, if you want me to tell them a little bit about this, we have structured this reward system. As I explained to people who may not be familiar with Kickstarter, you're basically investing. This isn't just give us money and then goodbye. That's the last you see of it. When you back this project, you are committing to it, and we are also committing back to you. So for $15, you get the ebook. For $25, you get the paperback. And then as it goes, yes, for those of us who love the smell of a new book, may I recommend the $25 package?
And it's autographed. It's even autographed, right? Autographed by both editors. So yeah, everybody wins.
And we will sign them. And you can also get Shakespeare and the Fringe, which, obviously you guys were just talking about the Fringe not that long ago. So
basically every other book I've put out.
Yeah. And anything with Lou's name on it, you can
Lou's
get.
greatest hits.
Yeah, pretty much.
But there's one, if you scroll down, there's one where you can get your name in the book. We will thank you at the end. You made the list. Yeah. So that is a really great deal. And then the digital bundle is labeled as best value because that you get everything from Lou and Two Jokers in that, and it's all digital. So please consider backing it. We have, you were talking about when you went to the book fair, you were picking things based on the cover.
Yeah.
And you can judge a book by its cover sometimes, especially this one, because the cover art done by Jeff Hayes is just so creative and so cool. We want to pay Jeff for his efforts. We had someone who did the layout. We want to pay her for her efforts. We want to pay our authors. This isn't just, we need money because we want to go on vacation. This is, it costs money to put out a book. And a lot of people had a very important part. A lot of really creative, really cool people had a part in this. And we want to be able to pay them for their work.
And he knows both Jeff and Amy Hale, who's doing the layout.
Oh yeah. We've actually had Jeff and Amy on the show at different points of the iteration of the 5-year run that we've had so far. By the way, we're not going anywhere. But yeah, Jeffrey Hayes is one of the first guests I ever had on the show. Amy Hale was one of our earliest guests. I think she was in season 2, if not season 3. But yeah, they're both, and Amy. And not to get into the weeds here, but all of us have gone through challenges and things of that nature. But Amy is fantastic. We play her promo at the end of a lot of our shows. Amy Hale's a great person. She's a great writer. I have 2 of her books in my set, or in my collection, I should say. Excuse me. Amy, we love you. You're the best. We wish you nothing but success moving forward, of course, no matter what. And then Jeffrey Hayes. I mean, the guy's a beast. He doesn't quit. I mean, honestly, half my books have a Jeffrey Hayes put together cover or cover layout, cover design. Yeah. And not only that, some of the T-shirts in my wardrobe are from his TeePublic store, which you're wearing one right now, Lou. So I got free plugs for Jeffrey Hayes and Amy. We love you, Amy.
Amazing, and he gives you so much. Like he doesn't just say, oh, here's a cover, go away and pay me. Like he helps you, like the little Kickstarter graphics that we have that say like back this campaign, and there's a couple in here somewhere. He
designed the Two Jokers publishing, didn't he?
Yeah, he gave me that Two Jokers logo. Like he would, and he's just like, here, use this. It's like what a guy. Like he was recommended by Bobby Nash, who like
the man.
Yeah,
That's the man right there. That's my boy. That's Bobby Nash. Bobby Nash and I are like, we're like this.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. You know, Bobby, who does your covers? Oh, you got to go with Jeff Hayes. And I was like, okay, and I've actually referred him to other people since then too, as well. So keep it going.
Yeah, he's done so many different covers, so many different great writers and people out there in the world. So, Jeffrey, you're the man. And by the way, Shakespeare had a laptop with a smartphone, and I believe that's a soccer game that he's watching on his flat
TV. There's a thermostat. Wait, scroll down just a little more. This was the funniest part.
Hold on, let me see.
This was the part that cracked us up. Look on the floor.
Oh, Roomba. Is that a Roomba? Is that what that is?
How great is that?
That was great.
Good Lord.
So every time we looked at it, we saw something.
He's got a smartwatch on his wrist.
Smartwatch.
Yeah, you'll find new stuff.
Yeah.
He's got a smartwatch. He's got a Bard computer. I mean, look at this guy.
So all I told him was like, look, I'm thinking like it's like Shakespeare sitting down writing something, but like there's all modern stuff around him, like phones and TVs and stuff. And he's like, okay. He's like, okay, got it. And he runs off and like, this is what you get. And this is like, I mean, no edits. Like, what do you think of this? Mm-hmm. And I'm just like looking at it, and we looked at it. I was like, nah, it's good. It's not like, well, change this and change that. And blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm like, no, it's perfect. He did it with the fringe as well. It was like, here's this. Do you like it? I'm like, yeah, done deal. So yeah, he's definitely my go-to for this stuff. Yeah, he makes it easy, like really. We're self-publishing stuff, and Amazon KDP is sometimes a little stringent with like if something's like a millimeter off, if you're uploading it, it's like no, you can't do it. And he just gives me the stuff as it's supposed to go in. He's like, just put this right in, zoop, perfect, done. Like it makes it effortless. Mm-hmm. So
for sure. And then all these graphics are great too. This is actually my, I don't know, for those of you who don't follow me personally on social media feeds known as Facebook, this is my cover photo right now. Is this project on Kickstarter wide shot that we have here.
Nice.
So because I'm trying to get the word out as best I can about the Kickstarter, and I'm plugging it as best I can. And that's what we do here at And I Quote in general. We try to support as many people out there as we possibly can. And if there is a graphic that we can use, such as Facebook cover photos, or what do you call it? Profile pictures, right, Lou? So you have profile pictures, you have stuff you can post on Instagram that fit within the framing of it. Mm-hmm. Square. Yeah. You have the square, you have the QR code, all that jazz.
Yeah.
I mean, that's but I don't know if you knew this or not, but both you and Allie, your money. You're so money you don't even know it. You're like a big bear, man. Honestly, your money. I'm telling you, your money. You're so freaking money.
I did get that reference.
Which that movie turns 30 next year, and we're going to be sitting here doing a 30th anniversary watch. We're doing it for a 30th anniversary watch along. So if you want to be on set with us, Lou, Allie, if you understood that reference, you're more than welcome to sit down and watch the movie with us, because it is one of the funniest, best comedies I've ever seen in my life. It's guaranteed. And yes, Utah, it's true. It's turning 30. Yeah, that's right. Swingers with Vince Vaughn and Jon Favreau turns 30. That is the story. I'm going to be like that Matt Damon gif that's like, when he's just aging, like as you're watching it, I'm going to be like, and I'll just die. Oh, please.
Vegas, baby.
Vegas, baby. Vegas. Yeah, it's so good. And then Utah says, hey, there's at least two of us here. That's viewers, plural, not one. Yes. I know, Utah. I get it. I said that earlier. Gee whiz. He says, Shakespeare. Didn't Mephisto from Marvel call him a twat? No. And if he did, he's silly.
That is quite silly, yes.
It is, because Shakespeare's, I mean, isn't there a list somewhere like top 100 writers of all time, and Shakespeare's like in the top 10 somewhere? I don't know.
Yeah, he created so many terms that we use and nobody even knows it. Yeah, there's like tons of them. Yeah, of course, I can't think of any at the moment.
Yeah, I can't think of any either. Do you know of any, Allie?
One fell swoop was a from a Shakespeare play.
There were actually just words too. Like he would just make up words, and they're still around today. Yeah, there's you can Google it later. There's like a whole a giant list of them. Yeah. I at first I was using chapter headers of words. Like I looked up a bunch of his words. What's a word he created, and I would say, okay, that's going to be the first chapter or whatever of the book or whatever. But that all went to heck. We'll say. Keep it family.
Did he invent the words "the show must go on," or was that somebody else?
What? That might have been him. Yeah. Oh, you know where I used the chapter header thing in my story, I think. Like
which one?
in the beginning, in the 12th night, I think that's where I had them. And then I changed it to
each section.
First night, second night. I had it. I actually made it a little literal, and I'm not spoiling anything from my story. No one's gonna read it anyway. Who cares? No, I'm just joking. She read it once, so that counts for one. And Rich read it once because that's two people read it. I read it. That's three. We'll see how it goes. But I was making the chapter headings just words that he created, trying to make them relevant to what was going on in the chapter. But I think I might have left a couple in there, but I made it very literal. I just made it, each chapter then became a day in the story, and the whole thing.
Okay.
12 nights, but it's in space, so I don't know. Time's a little different. But anyway,
Stardate 25102. Sorry, that's a Trek. That's a Star Trek reference. I don't know. Utah says, "Damn, Vegas, baby, Vegas." That's right. Utah says, "English, Knigget." Oh no, that's Monty Python, not Shakespeare. Darn right, it's Monty Python, not Shakespeare. Knigget. Yeah,
just as relevant, I would say.
Yeah.
This is gonna make Utah very sad, but I've never seen any Monty Python. I'm sorry.
Well, we'll fix.
I've never seen it. I know what it is. Like I know of it. I know some of the stuff that's in it, but I've never sat down and actually watched it.
It's young. It's okay.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you something honestly. Like I see how you have a gift for words, and you can spit out 1,000 words a second. You have to watch Michael Palin in season 1 of the show of Monty Python's Flying Circus. He does some amazing. I mean, you know the one I'm talking about, the one where he's like a news anchor, and he just spits out all these words rapid fire, and everything is pronounced exactly right, and everything is almost like a tongue twister, like a 5-minute tongue twister. It is amazing. So check out season 1 of Flying Circus.
Michael Palin.
Yeah,
really. I'm gonna have to look this up. If you want to send me a link in the DMs, that's fine too. But
I will. I'll find it.
You learn something new every day, which thank you for doing that, because this is what this show is. One of the biggest reasons we do the show is because it's, in the words of our good friend Marty, it's been educational. And that movie just turned 40 this week. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to make both Lou and Allie feel so young, but it's.
I'm gonna be dead soon.
Yeah.
No. Look, I mean, if it makes you feel any better, the first time I saw the movie, I saw it on VHS, so that's how how old and dated I am. But and by the way, if someone were to ask me hypothetically, because we've had this conversation before, not on this episode of And I Quote, but on other episodes of the stuff that we do. We do a show called Perfect Movies, where each panelist brings a list of 5 movies that they believe to be perfect or near perfect. And on a lot of people's lists, including my own, I've named Back to the Future as a perfect film.
Yeah, I love it.
Because it is. It just, there is nothing wrong with it. There's no scene that needs to be cut, trimmed, pieced together, edited out, whatever it is, right? Because, editors are here. They don't need to be edited. The editing on that movie is perfect as it is. Yeah. You don't need to do anything else, right, Allie? I mean, you don't need to take anything out, because it adds everything more to the story, at least in my opinion.
Yeah.
Not too early. I sleep on Sundays. I'm gonna fly your shoes untied. Anyway. Let's see. She had to. She's the editor, says Utah, from something that was said earlier, Allie.
Yes, I saw it when it came in, and I was like, yeah.
She's the editor.
But speaking of pieces that were never published, there actually was going to be, these anthologies I put out, Blade Runner or whatever. There was a Back to the Future one that this guy was doing way back when, where was that? It was on Sequart. It was going to be, and it was, another one of those instances where it's like, okay, everybody pitch your ideas. And I actually still have, I have the piece. It has to be edited maybe, but there were, Rich was involved, I think. And there were a few people that I know. I forgot who was putting it out, but it ended up never coming out. But of course I wrote the piece. So now I've got this whole essay about how Doc Brown was really actually not a very nice guy. And it points out, I watched all the movies and taken all these notes of all the nasty things he had done throughout all 3 films. And it turned into a pretty fun essay. It was he's just really, if you break it down, outside of the happy speeches he gives, Marty, I love you, he actually does some really horrific stuff. So maybe that'll see the light of day.
I would love to see, as a diehard, as most people are in the world, and if you're not, you're fooling yourself. I'm a diehard Back to the Future fan. I will read that.
I mean, the only thing I can remember right now is in the, I think it was the second one, they knock out Lorraine.
No, you mean Jennifer.
Jennifer, yeah, and they just basically leave her in an alley, and then they go off and do a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm like, what is he he doing?
Yeah, the holographic sleepiness-inducing holographic generator. She was asking too many questions, and no one should know too much about their future. Don't worry, she's not essential to my plan.
Right.
And I'm like, well, then you just dump her in an alley, man.
So it's like stuff like, if you really look close, stuff.
Yeah.
A million things like this throughout
Yeah.
the movies.
Sketchy.
So I'm like, I'm just gonna
And
write
it's Elizabeth Shue that you're doing this to. And Elizabeth Shue is and Allie, you probably know that Elizabeth Shue is 80s royalty. She is 80s royalty, okay? You're looking at Cocktail with Tom Cruise, all right? She was in that. That was one of her first gigs, I think. She was in Adventures in Babysitting, which is a criminally underrated film. If you've never seen it, for those of you in the know, if you've never seen it, watch Adventures in Babysitting. You won't regret it. What else was
Karate Kid?
Her name was Allie.
Karate Kid. Speaking of Alleys, hello. That was her character in Karate Kid with Daniel-san. Daniel-san. I mean, it's just Karate Kid is iconic, by the way. So I just,
When she came back on the show, we were all jazzed.
Yeah, dude. I finally got around to seeing Cobra Kai, and I haven't seen the final season yet, but I've seen the first 5. And I gotta tell you, when she shows up and helps Johnny and was it Danny mend their broken fences and their differences to a certain extent, anyway, I thought to myself, first of all, honey, for your age, you look fabulous. Second of all, she doesn't really age. And thirdly, can we have her in more episodes than just 2? Because it seemed like her and Johnny were trying to strike up the romance again. And I was like, are they going to do it? Are they going to do it? Are they going to do it? And then they take it away. And I'm like, doggone it.
She's probably too busy or whatever.
Yeah.
But,
probably. But I'm like, Elizabeth, come on. Johnny likes you. You know? I mean, it's like the song in Lion King. Can you feel the love tonight? Come on.
Can you do that again? I want to see that again.
Well, what I mean is Johnny and Allie had the romance going, and you're thinking to yourself, the song's playing in everyone's mind, right? Can you feel the love tonight? I mean, come on. See, it's funny because I was watching Lion King when I was having breakfast this morning, Allie. There you go. Which the Lion King is one of the greatest movies of all time. I don't care what anybody says. It's so good. It's so good.
It's Shakespearean type of stuff too.
It is,
right. It's I forgot what it was. I don't know what it's. It actually is taken.
Isn't it Hamlet? Is it Hamlet?
No.
Is it? No, it's not Shakespeare's Hamlet. What's the other one? Is it Othello?
Rich would know.
Rich, do you know what iteration of Shakespeare that Lion King is portraying? Because I was under the impression it was Hamlet, but I might be dead wrong.
You may be right.
Utah says it's Hamlet. It was an adaptation of Hamlet. Okay.
I stand correct.
There you go. It's Hamlet. Yeah. And then what was it again?
He sees the ghost of his father, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Sorry. Never mind.
It's
Utah, we should have Utah on the show.
When anyone doubts if they want to buy something, add something to their collection as a collector or a book reader, remember who you are. It's like, there you go. That's a clever way to remind people who they are. That's great.
And it's Darth Vader with the helmet.
And it's which, by the way, R.I.P. James Earl Jones. He's no longer with us. We're going to miss him forever and ever and ever. And obviously, I also remember him from my favorite sports movie, Terrence Mann. From Field of Dreams. Field of Dreams.
Wasn't he in the Sandlot? Was he the neighbor? No,
he was the neighbor. He was, but that was the 90s. I'm thinking of the 80s baseball movie, which came out 4 years prior, and that's Field of Dreams. Because if you build it, he will come, Lou. If you build it, he will come. It's a fact. Okay. Utah says Doc Brown is to Back to the Future as Grandpa Joe is to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. The true villain.
The true villain.
The true villain of the story. The true villain.
He's right.
Of this story. Yeah. It's all there, black and white, clear as crystal. You stole fizzy lifting drinks. You bumped into the ceiling, which now has to be washed and sterilized, so you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir. I know, Allie, I'm just full of random quotes. It happens. Utah says Karate Kid. Reality Redesign says, hey, that's my line. I don't know who that is, but good to see you, Reality Redesign. What's up? And Hamlet was the iteration of Lion King that it adapted to. Yes, thank you.
Yes.
That's true. Well, congratulations on this campaign. It seems to be doing quite well. You're more than halfway to your fundraising goal last time I checked.
Yep.
So that's great. And don't worry, folks, if you want to know more about this Kickstarter, the link is in the description of this video and is on my social media pages. And yes, I will be resharing it on Instagram as we go throughout the course of days and weeks and months. So it will be happening. And then, exactly. So, but congrats, you're more than halfway home. So this is good. This is very, very good. And how many, I believe you got what was it? I have it here. 17 days left, I believe.
17 days. Yep.
Yeah. Almost halfway
through. So we need to kick it up a notch, but we'll be promoting heavily this week. I've been putting up updates with little excerpts from the book and stuff. I put one up from Rich's story the other day, and I'm going to continue that this week. It was a holiday weekend, so we didn't do too much, but yeah, we're trying to get it moving again. I don't want to creep to the finish line and then just kind of whimper over. I want to make sure we're in a good place. In this week is crucial, I think. And then we'll see how we pull it through in the end. I have run a Kickstarter before, and so I have a little experience with it. We've been doing pretty well, but we definitely need some more support, and we got some more today. So,
and thank you to everyone who has backed it, and thank you, Ryan, not only for backing it but having us here to talk about it. And
absolutely.
Tons of promotion. Every time I open up a Facebook, I see it's on, promoted somewhere else from you. So we appreciate that. And everybody else, all the writers have been posting about. Everybody's been really great with helping us. So we're just going to keep pushing and keep it going. We're going to be really obnoxious for the next 2 weeks. So you can, block us, hide us if you've already backed it.
You know what? When we hit our goal, we'll shut up about it. So donate, back us now, and we will drop it and talk about things like when our band is playing, which is definitely what we do.
We still do that, though. That's all right.
Speaking of which, how is the music business these days for you fine people? Is it going well? You got a lot of gigs? Did you have a lot of gigs this past week or last week or the week before?
Yeah, we always do.
We played on a moving flatbed truck yesterday morning for
a moving flatbed truck, really?
Yeah, that's our fun annual tradition for 4th of July here in New Jersey. We play a local parade, which is always fun.
Really?
And we're playing on Friday, and it's kind of like tie it together. And sorry if this is a little bit of a reach. We did not talk about this ahead of time. This just occurred to me. Like,
it's okay.
We play music in a cover band, right? Like, we love 80s, 90s, 70s, like all that kind of stuff. We try to give things a little bit of a different flavor while being true to the original. Guess what? This book is the same thing. This is like a Shakespeare cover band. It's, the stories that with like a different kind of twist. So I guess we're good at that kind of stuff.
That's good.
What role do you play in the band, Allie? What's your role? Are you a instrumental artist? Are you a singer?
I play guitar and sing.
You play guitar and you sing, so you're a double threat?
Yes, wow. And I play the tambourine and some other percussion-y kind of
tambourine, so you bring out your inner Fleetwood Mac, doing this.
Do you know what this is?
No, I have no idea. What is that called exactly? Because I think I may have seen it in a music class once before.
This is a vibra slap. I don't know if you guys can hear this, but it goes.
Oh gosh.
There's one of those at the beginning of Ozzy Osbourne's Crazy Train. So when we do Crazy
I like that song. Yeah, I like that song. Yeah.
So make sure and follow us and like us.
That's really cool. What kind of songs do you like to sing? What's your favorite songs within the set to sing? What do you like?
We do like Pat Benatar and the Go-Go's.
Hit me with your best shot.
Yep, we do that one. And what else? I'm so bad on the spot. There's so many that are fun.
Do you play any? Well, let me ask you this: from bands, right? Because you do covers of different songs from different artists, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever covered have you ever covered stuff from Steve Miller Band or Doobie Brothers or Yes or Christopher Cross?
I have in other. We all play in other.
We've done the Joker. Obviously, we have to do the Joker because Lou is in the band. And we've done. Listen to the music like completely unrehearsed and sight unseen. Somebody wanted to hear it and we were like, okay, Doobie Brothers, here we go. So we did that. I'm more of like a rocker girl. I don't
Guns N' Roses or Scorpions. Maybe Bon Jovi. Is that another one?
They request that a lot.
We
end up having to play a lot. We're in New Jersey, so
Jersey. So do you play Dead or Alive or do you play Give Love a Bad Name? Is that it?
Yeah, we've attempted.
Did we do that one?
I don't know if it
have you done that one yet?
We've tried.
We're trying to think of like other ones we can do so we can not have to play the same.
Living on a Prayer, is that another one?
We've done it. It's a kind of a pain in the butt, that song.
It's really high, and I have my doubts that that's real on the record.
Yeah.
But that's another subject.
Conspiracy theories, Fox Mulder.
Yes.
There's an X-Files reference for you. That's a 90s thing.
We haven't done Yes, but we did toy with doing Owner of a Lonely Heart.
Well, and
Oh, that's a great song, though.
we almost did it. We were very close.
We
Yeah.
do Kill the Radio Star, which has
Oh.
a yes.
Radio kill the radio, or TV kill the radio star. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, we do
Yeah,
that.
that we did that one at the parade yesterday. That one went over really well. People were like singing along and waving their flags and stuff. It was cool.
Yeah.
That's fun. No, that's great. I didn't know you were a singer and guitarist, Lally. This is all news to me.
She's got originals and other projects. We all do lots of things, but this band is like the core of it. But
No, that's great.
Songwriter, does all that stuff too.
Songwriter.
Yep.
Wow.
Kinds of stuff. Yeah. I was with my family yesterday and they were like, do you guys ever sleep? Do you like
That's a good question. Do you guys ever sleep?
Nah.
You don't sleep, do you, Lou? Allie, you don't sleep at all? You just stay up creating stuff and putting piecing stuff together and getting ready for your next gig, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Yep, always.
It's overrated. Sleep.
Sleep, some people say sleep is for the weak. Other people say that you can sleep when you're dead. I mean, it's just, well, here's the thing. I work an overnight job, Allie, so I need sleep. I need to sleep before I go to work because I'm working in the middle of the night when everyone's asleep. So if I don't get some form of what is known as shut-eye, I'm going to be a bloody zombie. So
Gotcha.
yeah, I'm sorry to disappoint everybody, but I sleep during the day and then I work all night. Yeah.
So basically you just told everyone you're a vampire.
Basically, yeah, but not the shiny one that shines in the daytime. No, not that one, not that franchise. That doesn't exist. Hashtag those are the facts. But if you want to go old school and talk about, what is it, the Lost Boys, or even the first early seasons of the Vampire Diaries, which were good television at the time, I can talk about that. But anything else, I'm like, I mean, Blade's a great movie. I think Blade's a great movie. Wesley Snipes, that's a vampire movie, right? That counts. Yeah. Kind of like a vampire, but I'm not the evil kind of vampire like he fights in the movie Blade. It's not like that vampire rave scene at the opening of the film. I am nothing like that. I just want to make that perfectly clear. So Wesley Snipes doesn't come to me and be like, some blank, always trying to skate uphill. I'm sorry, that's a Marvel reference.
It's your show, man. You can quote all you want. And
I know, but I just out of curiosity though, because we didn't get a chance to talk about this during the earlier parts of this telecast. Once again, this is And I Quote with Allie and Lou of the Shakespeare adjacent Kickstarter. Links are in the description for the Kickstarter. Please back it. Don't forget to like and share this with your closest friends. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments. If you're watching this live or what is known as a replay, thank you so much for doing that. I forgot to ask you this earlier, and I'm so sorry I didn't do this. Allie, favorite Star Wars movie? Are you familiar with the Galaxy Far, Far Away? Do you know what it is? Have you seen all the movies?
I've never heard of it.
Really?
What's this Star Wars thing people
You're not
keep
familiar with it?
talking about? I would Empire. I know everybody says that, but
That's the cliche. Yeah, that's like the typical,
but it has
Empire's favorite.
Yeah, it has the most action.
Romance.
So, like, yeah, although I don't know, there is like that bit in the middle where he's training gets kind of boring.
Really?
Yeah, like did
With
we
the
need
rocks?
that much?
Too many rocks?
Did we need that much
Too many
of
rocks.
all of that? I don't know.
many
I'm
rocks.
gonna I shouldn't have said that. I'm gonna get
It's okay.
the internet now, but
You gotta feel the force around you.
yeah,
It's energy.
I like it. I loved the first 2 seasons of Mandalorian. That was
Yeah.
awesome.
I'm a diehard Mandalorian fan. I love that show. Yeah.
So
Okay.
I like that, but there's
Empire.
certain things I can't make it through, but I have seen all of the actual 9 Star Wars movies.
I mean, there's only 5 good ones, really. The other ones can go by the wayside to me, but no, it's fine. No, it's good. Empire is the typical answer I've heard from almost every single flipping person that's come on the show, and it's fine because we just did not to make you feel any younger here, Lou, but we just did the 45th anniversary watch along of Empire a couple weeks ago, so it's up there. It's on the YouTube channel. If Allie wants to go back and watch the footage, it was a lot of fun. No, it's a good movie. It's great. It holds up. Yoda works perfectly, in my opinion. Frank Oz, all the puppeteers, people who work. Jim Henson's Creature Shop. Let's give it up for Jim Henson. Without him, the movie wouldn't have worked.
Right.
And Jim Henson was a dreamer. He went further than any of us could have ever imagined. And we wish the entirety of the Jim Henson Empire the best, because I've met some of the puppeteers from Jim Henson. I've met Steve Whitmire, who was Kermit the Frog for a number of years. He was also Rizzo the Rat. I met Kevin Clash, who was Elmo, Sesame Street. He was also the voice of Master Splinter in Ninja Turtles. In the movie, not the animated series. I've met Carol Spinney, who was Big Bird before he passed away. That was a nice memory of mine because he was very frail when we met him. But he could still hear you. Like he could still like register you were there. But you can tell that the time was catching up with him. You know what I mean? But R.I.P. to Carol Spinney. R.I.P. to Jim Henson. We love you all. And Frank Oz is still kicking, man. So well done, Frank. You're the man. For sure. Let's see. I hear Sinners. The new Sinners is a good vampire movie. I've heard good things about that too. I have not seen it yet, but I've heard good things. Have you seen Sinners, you two?
Not yet.
No. All right.
Well, I mean, I've seen actual Sinners, but I haven't seen the movie yet.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Getting deep into the weeds here, guys. No, I'm just kidding. But Michael B. Jordan and who else is in it? Haley Steinfeld is in it. She's great. She's a great actress. I think They Dream of Electric Sheep. Wasn't that a short story?
That is a
Blade Runner, isn't it?
Blade Runner reference, yes.
Yeah. I need you, Blade Runner. I need your magic.
That was the original novel. Was
Yeah.
called Do Androids Dream of
How
Electric Sheep.
deep reference.
It is. Isn't
Oh,
it?
my friend.
You should have Utah on the show sometime because
Yeah, Utah. You want to be on the show? Let me know.
This is what you get.
Well,
get
send me Utah. Send me a DM on Facebook or check out the link in the description where you can sign up to be a guest on the show for the month of October, because that's where we have spots open right now at the moment. Sorry, I get booked pretty easily. Cliche but true. Jeez.
I saw when that came in. I know what that refers
Yes.
to.
Good lord.
It's legit. It's all right.
Yeah.
Let me see. Reality says I was 11 years old when A New Hope came out. That opening scene blew my little brain. Well, I mean, honestly, the thing coming overhead, it's still mind blowing 50 years later. I'm sorry, Lou, not to make you feel any younger.
No, it's
But
right.
I'm sorry. But the movie turns 50 in 2027. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm aware of that one.
I'm sorry.
How did you see that movie before you were born?
It's amazing.
Did he?
It was before my time.
Am I wrong? No. Okay, never mind.
No, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
No.
I'm making a joke.
Well, I was 7.
Seven.
I saw it in the theater. Yeah, obviously, because there was nowhere else to see it.
There you go. All good. I mean, the original trilogy is one of the most rewatchable things in entertainment business. So if you ever want to go back and rewatch something that's rewatchable, New Hope, Empire, Return of the Jedi, they're all rewatchable. Enjoy them. Soak it up like a sponge.
There was no New Hope in the beginning. That was
exactly. It was just Star Wars. It was just Star Wars, right? It wasn't. When did they rename it? It
was before Empire came out. They re-released stuff because again there was no rewatching anything.
Right.
Went to hype up The Empire Strikes Back.
They renamed it.
They put out Star Wars in the theaters again just to kind of get people excited for
Really?
Empire Strikes Back, and they added. Because they were adding episode 5 to Empire, and they knew that, so they said, "Well, when we re-release it, we're gonna have to make this episode 4."
Mm-hmm.
And they gave it a subtitle. But when the first time I saw it when I was little, it just said Star Wars, and that was it. And then the crawl went by.
Great poster too.
Mhm.
All the posters that came out. Oh my gosh, great artwork, by the way. Just want to give the artist credit where credit is due. Great stuff. And yeah, Joseph Campbell Hero's Journey plays very heavily into Star Wars. They borrowed a lot of elements from it, and we talked about it in my college film classes when I was in school. And I actually facilitate a program where I work with undergrad students and autistic adults, and my program is about movie analysis, about teaching them to analyze film a little bit more differently. And I say, look, if you watch Star Wars or some of the other movies you've seen, they do borrow elements from the hero's journey because it plays very heavily into a lot of different stories that you may have read.
Oh yeah.
So I do point that out during my class that I teach at my university, Lou. It's a true story.
What other films do you teach them in your class?
Well, basically in the program, it's a program, and it's called Film Fanatics. I call it Film Fanatics. I know. I figured Allie would like the name of that. That's cool. So I basically teach them how to analyze film, like to be a film critic. Just look at films a bit differently because I teach them about the hero's journey. I teach them about how Star Wars was inspired by lots of different themes and different elements of storylines from Shakespeare and imperialism and Nazi Germany and all the stuff that was going on in history, all that stuff. So I basically just teach them some of the basic stuff because I can't get too deep into the weeds because it's a once a week program, and it's for autistic adults and it's undergrad students. And I love what I do. And if you find something you love that you do, it's never called work.
Yeah. I was wondering what other films.
Well, I show them clips from Star Wars. I show them clips from Hunger Games. Some of the more modern stuff like the 2010s, and obviously Star Wars being from the 70s and the 80s, and obviously, but because a lot of them are more familiar with the prequels than anything else.
Yeah, right.
I show them clips from the prequels and how Anakin's fall to the dark side is similar to, you know, the villain's journey to the hero's journey, and then back to the villain or whatever, you know, stuff. I teach them about X-Men is a great analogy for explaining what autism is to people, or different people who struggle with different disabilities or things of that nature. Because, and this is something, and a lot of people have picked up on this too. X-Men is great for explaining a lot of relevant issues, But to me, X-Men is a perfect analogy for autism, because they were cast out. They were, you know, treated differently because they were different. And I'm like, well, people with autism have been not to get into the weeds here, folks, but to a certain extent, people with autism have been mistreated at certain times.
Yeah.
But now that we've gotten to a certain extent, we've gotten a much better understanding of it. It's being studied more. It's being analyzed more. People are teaching it in their classrooms. People are discussing it at youth centers and gymnasiums and all this kind of stuff. And also there's first responders training that's being done. I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but first responders are being taught about how to, you know, have patients who are autistic, how to treat them if they're in a hospital setting, if they're in a police setting, a fireman setting, whatever it is. They're being taught how to treat autistic individuals, and that's a good thing that we want. I mean, truth be told, I worked for a 501c3 nonprofit in my neck of the woods here in Maryland. For those of you wondering, I'm in Maryland. PathfindersForAutism.org. Look up the website. Great people. They do first responder and medical personnel training every single week in different parts of the state. Just to give you a clear picture here, they do it in different parts of the state because they want as many people as possible informed about how this population should be treated.
Yeah, right. Right.
So there you go. There's your the more you know. There's your life lesson for.
No, that's good. I mean, when I was
Great
a kid in school, like when I was really young, you know, back in the 1800s, they
1800s.
Back in the schoolhouse.
Back in the day, you know, back soda was 5 cents.
Yeah, that's right. They didn't even have soda yet.
We didn't even have a vending machine, boy.
Right.
Yeah.
We
sorry, go ahead.
There were kids you know, in school, or you know, first grade, second grade, third, whatever. Nobody knew who was autistic, who had ADHD, any of this stuff. So it was just a lot of an environment of, you know, well, that kid's weird, and the I'm talking more about the teachers now. Like they didn't know,
the educators.
Like they didn't really know how to handle kids. Like everybody was just the same. So
they had no idea
in their mind, so they didn't know how to do. And that's up to recent years, even, you know, with my kids too. We experienced some of that in school. So it's taking a long time to get people on board. All right. I'm trying to have a serious moment here.
Yeah, Utah I'm sorry. No, you're right. No, but you're right though. You're absolutely right.
I'm not mad. I'm just
no. And this is something
Utah and I go back quite a ways.
You guys know each other for quite
we know what's
all right. Utah, like I said, if you want to be on the show and crack some jokes or talk about your background,
you better have me on. You better have me on with them then, because
do you want to be on?
Going like,
do you want to be on? I mean, if you want to be on the show with Utah, that's fine. I can get Utah in here. We can get Lou in here. It doesn't. If Allie wants to be in the peanut gallery, that's fine too.
I'll just crawl along the floor in the background.
I mean, listen, you can either stroll across the floor, or you could pull a Stettler and Waldorf. You know, oh, what is this show? Are we watching the same show? You know, it's just. I grew up watching Muppets. Okay, Allie.
I love the Muppets.
You pick a topic, we'll all show up.
I grew up on Muppets. I grew up on Sesame Street. Fun fact: Cookie Monster is my favorite Sesame Street character of all time. Favorite Muppet though is got to be Kermit. Kermit's my man. Kermit's the dude. He leads the team. He brings everybody together when things are going south. I got to give Kermit where credit is due. And we've had Jim Henson's cartoonist, Guy Gilchrist, has been on the set with us virtually on And I Quote. You should go back and watch that tape. It was a lot of fun. And he had a replica of Kermit the Frog, and he interacted with me as Kermit during the latter part of that interview, Allie.
Very nice.
So you need to go back and watch that footage, because Guy Gilchrist is one of the nicest human beings I've ever come across in my career. And for him to be on the show and talk about the time that he was working with Jim when he was alive, and being in the workshop and working with the other artists, the puppeteers, everybody behind the scenes, he has got so many stories that he's putting together a book of his time working with Jim Henson.
Good.
And when his book comes out, I'm going to buy a copy. I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it. I'm going to give it a review. Maybe we'll get him on the show again, right? We can bring him here on set. We can talk about it again. I don't know, but Guy Gilchrist is one of the top 5, if not top 10 guests we ever had in the history of this show.
Awesome.
Garen freaking Teed. Utah says, laugh out loud. It's a date. It's a date. All right, great.
Yeah.
Send me the DM. Do what you gotta do. What else? Reality Redesign says you guys are all hilarious. Yeah, I listen. In the words of James Bond, we aim to please. I mean, we just aim to please, man. Honestly, it's true. And
but we do aim.
We do exactly. Let me see here. 100% about the rise in awareness about neurodivergence. Yes, more awareness, more understanding, more acceptance, I think is the word, right? Is that a word? Yeah. Let's use that. But yeah, I think it's becoming more prevalent in today's world. So let's keep that in mind as we go ahead here. Utah says, I can't believe that Jaw is 50 years of age. I'm sorry, but it's true. It's true. And I've been watching that movie all week. I've been watching it during the course of this holiday weekend, which Ali and Lou and I were talking about backstage earlier on in the show. And then Utah brings up a great quote from a great movie that's only 15 years young, maybe 17 years young, I want to say. Is it 17, 18 years young? You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Very true. Very true. That's not just a great quote from Dark Knight. That's something that's prevalent in anything.
I thought that was Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. They said that.
Was it?
That's what I thought.
I've seen that movie. Have you seen the movie? I've seen the movie. I'll admit it. I'm a man. I'm willing to admit it. I've seen Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, Ali. I've seen it.
Nothing wrong with that.
I've seen it. America Ferrera's in the movie. Alexis Bledel, who I grew up watching in the movie Tuck Everlasting from Walt Disney Pictures, which was shot in my backyard in Maryland. That was cool. She was also in Gilmore Girls. I've only seen
literally in your backyard, like in your actual backyard.
No, just in certain parts of my home state where I am in.
Just want to clarify for the viewers.
No, not my backyard. No. It was filmed on the eastern shore of Maryland in Berlin, which is across the bridge from Ocean City, for those of you who want to know the geography of this. And they also shot scenes of it in the Loch Raven Reservoir in Maryland. So there's your geography lesson for the day. Okay. But yeah, she was also in she also made Alexis Bledel was on everything. She was in Sin City.
Oh,
with Bruce Willis and Clive Owen, right? Yeah. She's been in everything. But Sister of the Traveling Pants, Ali, I'm willing to admit, I've seen it. I never saw the sequel though.
Gilmore Girls, I have to give a shout out to that. I love that show. I love the Palladinos.
Favorite moment from the show or favorite season?
I love when Luke and Lorelai finally get together. And for that 5 minutes where they're happy and everything's great. I'm like, yes, we've been waiting for this. But I also love everything with Hep Alien and Lane Kim and the floorboards and how she would sneak punk rock music into her house without her knowing about it. And all those references are just fantastic. So shout out to Gilmore Girls. It's a cool show.
I've seen this is going to make everybody sad. I've seen the first half of season 1.
It gets so much better.
I'm a little behind. I'm sorry. Ali, I'm sorry to disappoint you again, but I'm a little behind the 8 ball. Utah says I'm a fan of the Aliens. Book. Okay, good for you. Fan of the Aliens? I don't know where you're coming from. Mind-blowing stuff that you guys will appreciate because Shakespeare or Jason, you are participating in a long-time tradition. Check it out. I'll look you up and send you guys some links. Yeah. Promote everybody, guys. Promote everybody. Get the links out there. Get the Kickstarter link out there. All that stuff. Gilmore Girls, big influence in dialogue delivery for a culture with shorter attention spans.
Yeah, and this actually is true. I don't know what the numbers are, but if the average hour-long TV show script is 50 pages, a Gilmore Girls script was 120 pages with the same amount of time. They were just, if you've ever seen the movie His Girl Friday, where it's just rapid fire dialogue, Gilmore Girls is like that. Mrs. Maisel is done by the same people. And that also has elements of that too. That
really
sort of quick. You got to be quick to catch it all. It's
great.
Moonlighting
is a little bit like that too.
Yeah,
Moonlighting. Yeah.
We've been doing a Moonlighting marathon.
Really, Bruce Willis, I believe. Is that Moonlighting with Bruce Willis?
And I only remember seeing episodes when it was on. I never watched it straight through. Yeah. So we're doing a bit of a Moonlighting rewatch right now.
That's really cool because a lot of people compare Moonlighting to Lois and Clark and how Lois and Clark is to Moonlighting what Moonlighting was for people who grew up in that generation.
You should check out Moonlighting. It's a little bit they'll break the wall now and then. It does look really.
It gets goofy.
It does.
It
does
like
different
goofy.
Stuff.
Yeah,
it does.
It's slapsticky, but it's also very quick-witted, and I think once you get past the first couple episodes, it really
Okay.
starts to pick up.
I have to check that out. Moonlighting.
Romantic tension.
Yeah.
Will
Will
they-
they or won't they?
Hey, there's a lot of that going on. So
Is it?
cool. Yeah, I think you'd like it. It's very funny.
Moonlighting, some of the best TV ever. Their Taming of the Shrew episode is fantastic.
Yes.
So
Yes.
really, that there's a Taming of the Shrew?
The Shakespeare,
They did a Shakespeare
episode. That's we
episode.
just watched it.
Yep, not that long
a month
ago.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
There's
Thanks,
some- there's
Utah.
some-
I'm gonna have to look
that's
this up
really-
now. Thanks.
Yeah, there's definitely it's on one of the was it Hulu? It's on one of those.
Yeah, Hulu.
I have Hulu. Yeah. I got it.
It's on. I think it's on there. You
I'm
can watch it.
streaming episodes of Hell on Wheels, the Western set show, which is really good. Been rewatching episodes of White Collar. I don't know if anyone's familiar with White Collar with Matt Bomer.
Watch that.
Tiffany Thiessen's in that. Hello, Kelly Kapowski.
Oh, there's your girlfriend.
Yeah. This is her more, adult phase. She's a wife. She's, aspiring to be a mother on the show and things like that. But I'm like, hey, Tiffany, you're one of the women in Hollywood who have aged gracefully, including Elizabeth Shue. She's one of the same people. A lot of women that we, actresses, I'll just say actresses, that we may or may not have grew up watching and kind of maybe are not having crushes on. They have aged pretty well. I mean, Elizabeth Shue, Jamie Gertz. I mean, who are some of the other that we remember? Not Linda Hamilton. She, I love Terminator, but you can tell that her age is starting to show. I'm sorry. No offense.
Oh, that was so good. No, that was perfect delivery. I love it. It's like, hey,
well, not so much, but Claire Danes. I think Claire Danes still looks good. Claire Danes was, speaking of Shakespeare, she was in William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet with Leo DiCaprio.
Yes.
Speaking of which, favorite Shakespeare to movie adaptation.
There's so many.
I've seen Romeo and Juliet, so I've seen that one.
I have mine. 10 Things I Hate About You. Also,
Yes,
so
that
I
is
love that one.
genius.
I think She's the Man was based on 12th Night.
Yes, yeah, that was
That's
Amanda
my
Bynes.
favorite.
I want to say Amanda Bynes was in that.
I'm just making, conversation. I don't have a favorite, but that was one that just popped into my head. There are a bunch based off of 12th Night.
There's so many. Yeah.
There's a lot of them, isn't there?
But yeah.
Well,
10
and
Things
actually,
Hate
I
About
think
You.
Rich, like I told you, when he does the afterwards and all
Yeah.
that stuff, I think he has like a whole little section in there talking about things that have been
Really?
based on, and Rich is one of those guys, and this is not a knock.
No.
Like he's like, well, there's examples of things being, inspired by Shakespeare, and then he'll list like everyone. So there's like 100
Yeah.
of them, and you're like,
He's like a human Google machine. Is that what he is?
yeah. Rich is
Can we get Rich on the show? Can we get him on here?
he would absolutely be on. I would
Rich,
love to have him on.
Rich, if you're watching, send this to Rich. Rich, if you're watching this, we want to have you on set. We want to talk about books, writing, editing, all that kind of stuff. We want to talk about all this stuff.
Yeah.
Can we do that? Is that allowed?
And you want to talk about people
Rich.
who have the book collections? I mean,
Yeah.
I've been to his house. I mean,
Is it
his down in his basement office
Yeah.
area, like the
His
entire
area.
walls, all the walls look like that.
really? It looked like that?
But like there's no
Every
wall.
wall
There's no
looks like
wall.
that.
It's just
There's no wall?
No,
It's
there's
No
just
wall.
he doesn't
No
need
wall, guys.
it. He doesn't need
Just
it.
books holding
Books.
up the house.
Books?
He's got a very impressive collection, although he's a huge comic collector as well. So
Oh.
he's got, like he's a completist. He's got every
He's a
issue of
completist?
everything that he is
Yeah,
into.
you got to talk
So
to Rich.
I mean, he writes for Star Trek comic things, official things.
Does he?
He writes for all. You need him on the show.
We got to get him on here. Send me his information. Somebody text me, DM me, whatever it is. I need to get in touch with. We need to get Rich on the show, guys. Let's make it happen.
And Utah is right. His basement is made of
Books.
Actually, it's
I wish I had a basement that was made up of books, Sally. My life would be 10 times better than it is now. I'll give you that.
It's impressive.
You're on your way.
That's
You're on your
why.
way.
That's why I like.
Thank you. Yeah, this is the precipice, right? This is the tipping of the this is the tip of the iceberg, right?
Yes.
That's what the public is allowed to see.
Well, yeah. I mean, I got a storage tote right over here at the other side of the studio that's got a bunch of paperbacks in it, Allie, if it makes you feel any better. So, I don't know. That's true. But yeah, Rich Hanley, let's get you on the show. Talk to me. Have your people call your people. Lou, send me his info. Thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Shakespeare to book to movie adaptations. Yeah, I've seen the Claire Danes, Leo DiCaprio iteration. I've seen 10 Things I Hate About You. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
And it holds up too. 30 years later, 30 years later, it still holds up. And by the way, R.I.P. Heath Ledger, we
Yes.
miss you. Gone way too soon. And I mean way too soon. He had a lot going for him too. And he played one of the best iterations of, speaking of Clown Prince of Crime, Lou, he was one of the best Jokers we ever had.
It was good.
One of the best.
Definitely
one
good.
of the best.
Interesting.
Hands down.
Interesting, I would say. Like
he was
different take.
Well, definitely different than what we got in Jack Nicholson in '89, man.
Yeah, definitely different. Yeah, and speaking of movie adaptations, I did watch a few of the old school Olivier performances, like the filmed performances. They're really long.
I was gonna say, aren't they like 6 hours?
No, I would say 6, 3.5 maybe, but like they're on some of the streaming channels too. You can find some good ones on there. But they're well done. They're not bad. I mean, at the time they were probably like epic, you know. And now you watch it.
Yeah,
we've seen so much stuff now; it's a little different. But they were good.
All right, I'll have to look these up. But yeah, Shakespeare, my favorite one. I mean, right now the only thing because I know there's many of them, Allie, but the one I can think of is 10 Things I Hate About because you brought it up.
Because it's so good.
It's hilarious, and Julia Stiles owns that film, and Heath Ledger is a great love interest. And by the way, fun fact: I don't know if you knew this or not, but when she's reading that note at the end of her class, like the poem, whatever it is she wrote, that's her real reaction. That's not acting. She's really crying because of how much she cared about Heath Ledger and how much they enjoyed working together on set and all that stuff. That's her emotions just coming out naturally, Allie. That's not acting.
Oh my gosh, that makes it like so much sweeter now.
She revealed that in an interview not too long ago. So, yeah, great stuff. Then it's funny because when you get real reactions from actors and not acting just like actual human reaction, that's what makes the movie or the performances around it, right? All the better. I mean, with Pacino saying, because she's got such a great, and you got your head all the way up it in that crime thriller Heat when he's talking to Hank Azaria.
Yeah.
It's when he did that, Hank Azaria was reacting naturally because he had no idea that Al Pacino was going to go that over the top.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know, have you seen the movie Heat, Allie? Have you ever seen that?
Oh, you didn't.
It's on our list.
You didn't say
it's on our list.
I think I have the DVD.
We
or
have
up there.
we have a hard time finding time to sit down and watch a whole movie
because you're so used to singing and laughing and writing all these great stories and putting out these Kickstarters.
Yeah, we've spent all our time on Kickstarter.
Oh, Utah's right. West Side Story.
That's right. Yeah.
Romeo and Juliet.
Kenneth Branagh, Emma Thompson, and Keanu Reeves is in that. Get the frack out of here.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about
Much
that.
Ado About Nothing. All right, now and Kenneth Branagh knows a thing or two because that guy's like hardcore.
And funny enough, when I was doing the research for the 12th Night thing, this was back in 2014. I found a strict play adaptation.
Really?
12th Night, where they basically just performed it on a stage with no audience, but it's directed by Kenneth Branagh. Ooh. And that was my blueprint for the story, was to use that. You read through it, but I actually checked like the lines, like everything they said on the stage was verbatim from the book. So I read through it, and then I kind of put the book away and just watched this thing over and over again. And because it was basically like the audio book, like the video book, pretty much. And it's really well done. I would suggest finding that. It's on YouTube. I found it on YouTube somewhere, I think.
Special thanks to Kenneth Branagh for making Shakespeare Jason come to life. We'll add that in the afterward.
My part of it, anyway.
Yeah. We'll edit that at the end of the show. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joshing you. No, it's great. Honestly, it's really good. And I know not to get into the weeds again with this, but Allie, I'm just curious. Favorite line or moment, or should I say scene from the movie Empire Strikes Back? What's your favorite part?
Oh God, don't put me on the spot.
I'm sorry, but you know, Lou and I are Star Wars experts, so I
like the Rock. She doesn't like the rocks in the
too
middle.
much.
She doesn't like the rocks, which we know she doesn't like.
We already established that. Tell the reality while you're thinking. Tell the reality redesign commenter there that we can you can put our emails or whatever. I don't know about you, but I can put my email. I'm happy sharing whatever.
I am really bad at checking my email. I would say find me on Instagram, and we can connect that way, because people send me messages and he's like, I sent you that days ago, you didn't see it, and I'm like, no, I'm really bad with email.
Utah says you can go cliche again, Allie, if you want to use.
Yeah, what's your favorite?
Cliche? All of it. It's all so perfect and wonderful. The whole thing is my favorite.
You gotta have something.
You gotta have a scene or a moment or a line that you're just like, okay, this is pure gold right here. Come on.
She's not gonna remember lines.
It's gotta be something.
I'm not. I have to see a movie like 8 times until I can remember lines from it.
Really?
Yeah. So you have to ask me about something I've seen 8 times. Like,
darn it.
The
All
dead.
right. Well, one of my favorite scenes in Empire is them in the what is it called, the Hoth base, where Luke. It's after Luke gets rescued with Han. Han rescues Luke. Remember that with the Tauntaun, and when they're talking in the base, he's like, I don't know where you get your delusions, laser brain.
Mhm.
Laugh it up, fuzzball. But you didn't see us alone in the South Passage. She expressed her true feelings for me. Why, you stuck up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerve herder. Who's scruffy looking? I mean,
That's a great exchange. Yeah.
It's great. It's great. And I think didn't they improv some of that on the spot? It was great. I think Carrie Fisher was genius when she did that.
I don't know if they improv'd it.
Well, maybe she added some stuff. I don't know.
They used to always complain, like one of Harrison Ford's biggest jokes was like, George, you can write this
stuff,
but you can't say it. Like, so he would have to be saying these things, and he's like, what is this? Like it was pretty funny. But I don't know that. I mean, I have some of the old scripts too. I think that stuff's all in there. Okay. But it's the delivery. It's all the delivery. It's
great. That's one of my favorite scenes, Ali, if that helps refresh your memory at all.
The whole I just assume kiss a Wookiee. I can arrange that. You can use a good kiss.
Exactly. Yeah.
That stuff's just great.
That stuff is it's what was I gonna say? Climbing into the dead animal to survive. I thought they smell bad on the outside.
Yeah.
Sorry. Utah says any of the lines that are exchanged between Han and Leia is his favorite part of the film. There you go.
Yeah. They just go at each other though. It's like watching Moonlighting in space. They just go at each other the whole time.
Yeah.
Moonlighting in space. I like that.
That's Hey, your worship. I'm only trying to help. Will you please stop calling me that? Okay, Leia.
Yep.
So, sorry. So I guess nothing's coming to you back there, Allie. Nothing's coming to you. All right.
Next time.
Next on the sequel, to this episode of Van Dyke Quote. Well, you know what? I'll do you a solid. I will say this. I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to both Lou and Allie for being our guests on this week's episode of Van Dyke Quote. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure having you here. It's been great, wonderful, all the things. Vegas, baby, Vegas. There's so money you don't even know it. So if someone wants to know more about you kind people and check out the Kickstarter, where can they follow you fine folks on social media, both Lou and Allie, if you want to share that?
You just stick our names in there, you'll find me. I'm like everywhere. It's totally fine.
If I click join the chat, can I drop that in there?
Connect. You got to.
Oh, never mind. Okay.
A little busy.
I'm Allie 6 to 8 on Instagram. You'll see.
There you go.
Yeah. T-Bone 1138 is mine. But, you just put my name into Google, you'll find it all.
And there's a link to the Kickstarter. We did you an extra favor. We put it in the comments of this thing as well. So
thank you.
There's the Kickstarter. Check it out. Find out more there. Check out the press release too. They'll have some information for you.
Yep.
For sure. Well, great to have you both here. You're wonderful. You're like I said, you're both money. But stick around. More to come. Stick around. Give me a minute here. My name is Ryan of Van Dyke Quote Channel. Don't change the dial just yet. You can follow me across all forms of social media. Where am I pointing to, Lou? There it is, right there. At And I Quote Channel. It's where you can follow us across all forms of social media. It's where we post about our upcoming shows, some of the things we've done in the past. We do Flashback Fridays, Throwback Thursday posts, all that kind of stuff. We're also on the road to 5,000 subscribers on this channel, ladies and gentlemen. So once we hit 5,000, we'll have a live stream celebration that will include special giveaways that you, the person who's watching or listening to this episode of Van Dyke Quote right now, are going to be eligible to win. Also, we have merch. Speaking of merch, Lou, because you have merch that you're wearing today with that ridiculously good-looking T-shirt. We have shirts. We have hoodies. We got stickers you can add to your water bottles, right? We got coffee mugs. We got stationery. We got throw pillows, maybe some bed sheets, shower curtains. Pay no attention to that one behind the curtain. There you go. There's your reference. So it's all there in the description. It's in our social media bio. So make sure you check out those links respectively, I might add. So that's what I was trying to say. So there you go. So once again, thanks for being a part of this. Everyone in the chat, thank you so much. We look forward to having a lot. And Utah just subscribed. Thank you for increasing those numbers, getting the word out. Every little bit helps, ladies and gentlemen. It's true of anything in life, whether it's Kickstarter campaigns, whether it's sharing social media posts. It's free. It's free. You can do it for free. It's free. It's great. It's wonderful. Fantastic stuff. But once again, we cannot do this programming without you. So thank you so much. Thank you to both Lou and Allie for putting up with my antics, my crazy, no-nonsense movie quoting, the random references that come out of left field. I'm sure Allie's probably thinking to herself, I'm never, ever coming to this virtual studio ever again. No, that's okay, Allie. We understand that. If you can't, if you can't take the truth, it's all right. You can stay out of the kitchen. No, I'm joshing you. I'm joshing you. It's cool. It's copacetic. If you ever want to come back, Allie, and enjoy the chaos that ensues, you're more than welcome to. Trust me, it's fine. In the words of Han Solo, don't worry, everything's going to be fine. Trust me. You see, my friend. That's from Empire Strikes Back. Did you catch that, Lou? Did you catch that? I think he did. But anyway, long story short, too late. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, ring the bell to be notified of when our videos go up or they go live. Remember, life is better when supporting creators from all over the world. Take a look at this.
You've worked hard and written a great book. Now, it's time to give it a great cover. If you're an indie author or small press publisher, Plasmafire Graphics is your source for affordable cover illustration and graphic design. Plasmafire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you.
I'm a little tired, I'm a little wired, and I think I deserve a little appreciation.